Welcome to another video when today we are at day 21 of our December marathon. We are slowly getting towards the end of our marathon. We appreciate everyone for watching and tuning in during this whole time. But today we have the top 10 men in professional wrestling. That is AEW, WWE, and TNA. Obviously we don't watch as much of the other places, so we can't properly rate them. So we are going to stick to mostly American companies here. But I'm going to let you kick things off with your number 10.
For number 10 for me, I'm going to kick things off with Ethan Page, somebody who has continued to be one of the best characters and one of the most entertaining guys on NXT. Obviously, in terms of match quality, I think the Obas and Javon Evans is probably going to be over him, but I think as a well-rounded wrestler, Ethan Page has continued to be great. His in-ring has improved, his mic skills have still improved, and yeah, he's somebody who I think has the potential to be a world champion again in NXT and can potentially win a world champion one day on the main roster. Obviously, it might be a little bit of a stretch right now, but somebody who I think, again, with the improvements he's making, I think it's only time will tell how far he can truly reach in WWE.
Unfortunately, Ethan Page did miss out on my list just barely, but at my number 10, I do have Javon Evans, one of the best NXT talents that they have, one of the best talents really in the world. He just needs to kind of slowly build upon himself and get a couple of those small things that he might not have yet. But Javon Evans is going to be a big star. He probably will be on the main roster at some point next year. I could only imagine. But yeah, he's kicking off my list at number 10.
Then for number 9, I'm going to go with the former AEW World Champion, and that is Jon Moxley. He has had a very interesting year. Obviously, the start of the year, some people will kind of not like it just because of how the Death Riders were going on at that point, but I think the ability to kind of keep things fresh in the Death Riders storyline with different opponents, kind of switching up things, introducing new people into the faction, kind of putting new people up in new scales. So yeah, I think it's been a very strong year from Jon Moxley. He's also been a workhorse, pretty much working every single pay-per-view, I believe, this year. Obviously, we kind of thought he was going to be dead at some point, but continued to just keep showing up and keep showing up. So yeah, Jon Moxley, his match quality has also been great. The match, I think, he's probably going to be the biggest match this year, but yeah, great year from Moxley.
Yeah, Moxley didn't make my list either because he did take out my favorite in Darby Allin, so I'm being biased and keeping him out of here. But at number 9, I do have Obafemi, our current NXT World Champion, who will be facing Leon Slater at New Year's Evil for NXT next year. So a lot of really good stuff from him this year. Obviously, there's a second world title run this year. This is probably one of the most dominant kind of runs that we've really seen in recent memory in WWE. Obviously, there's been stuff like Stephanie McCurr in the women's division and stuff. But as far as like someone who's just like a big, massive human, like Jordan Grace doesn't really get the same treatment as Obafemi, of course. But Obafemi is just a special person. He is the new Brock Lesnar. He is the new biggest heel whenever they want him to be the biggest heel. Him and Gunther, him and Brock, him and Braun Breaker. There's a whole lot of matches for Obafemi. I'm very excited for him.
For number 8, I'm going to go with the GOAT, John Cena. Obviously, this year has been a very roller coaster type of year. Some things have been very great. Some things have been not so great. And yeah, I think in the end for me, number 8 is where I can put him. Obviously, the key moments being the retirement match with Gunther, the Punk match at Saudi, as well as the Cody Rhodes match as well. So yeah, a lot of great moments. The Dom stuff has been great as well. So yeah, John Cena, some of the stuff is going to be a very torn year, I think, for more people are going to be ranking. So I'm interested in where a lot of people have him. So if you do have him in your top 10, let us know where he would rank for you. But yeah, a very strong year from John Cena, and unfortunately, being his last year, we won't be able to see him for the next for rest of wrestling.
And at number 8, I have a TNA talent coming up, and that is Leon Slater, the current X Division champion, who once, like I said earlier, will be facing Obafemi at New Year's Evil. So really good stuff from him. I do think he probably will defeat Obafemi at New Year's Evil and become the first TNA person to hold an NXT World Championship, or really any person from any company to come over and hold an NXT Championship. So that would be really cool accolade for him to hold, to kind of move on to TNA and hold that world title there. And obviously, eventually, WWE will probably scoop him up and sign him at some point, but I think that's fine as long as he does his work in TNA as he is doing right now, because he's almost at 100 matches this year between TNA, NXT, and WXW in the UK, also flying from country to country nearly every single week. So a lot of good stuff from Leon Slater. He's putting the work in and it's showing.
For my number 7, I have a man that you mentioned earlier, and that is going to be Obafemi, somebody who, like you said, has had a very dominant year. I think just he continues to improve. It feels like he can't improve anymore, but that is just something that he's continuing to do. I don't know how he does it, but his aura this year has just been great. The match with Cody, I think, is something that I think will really stand out and be a key moment for him going down the future. Obviously, being able to hang with the top guy in pro wrestling right now, being Cody Rhodes, I think that kind of tells a lot in what WWE believes of him in the future. future. So yeah, very strong year from Obafemi. And yeah, the matches this year were great. The Stand and Deliver triple threat was good. The Ricky Saints matches were really good. The Javon Evans match was really good. So yeah, very strong year from Obafemi, and somebody who again will probably be in these top 10s probably for the next few years of his career.
Number 7, I have Bandito coming in. He was a person who came in very, very hot in the singles division, had a good Ring of Honor run. Didn't really know a lot of previous stuff before he came into Ring of Honor, to be completely honest. But once he did come, he made a huge scene, put on a lot of huge spots. And I won't lie, I was a little bit of a hater when he first came on. I didn't really enjoy a lot of his stuff. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I was kind of just like, I didn't really think it was as good as everyone else said it was. But I did think he was good. But once he kind of entered that tag team division with Brody King, one of my favorite people in AEW, that really helped me kind of bring him into one of my favorites list and helped me realize that he is a really good wrestler and that he can do a lot of these tag team moves very, very good. And there's a lot of fluidity between him and Brody King, despite the obviously big difference between them two and size difference in the way they wrestle and everything about them. But really good stuff from Bandito. I think he'll be a lot higher on this list in another future year.
For me at number 6, I do have Will Ospreay. Obviously, this is probably going to be the lowest he's going to be for quite some time. Obviously, missing this last few months of the year, but obviously still having a 7-month run this year. Obviously, the highlights being the All-In match with the Young Bucks with the tag team of Swerve, and then you have the Hangman and Page match at Double or Nothing, and then you have that Kyle Fletcher match as well, the Kenny tag team match at Grand Slam. So you have a very strong year from Will Ospreay. The only reason why he is just going to be this low is just because those past few months being gone has kind of felt very missed from him. So I do kind of think there's an argument he could be higher, could be lower. So I'm interested where again people have him ranked. But yeah, a very strong year, even though obviously having time missed.
Number 6, I have John Cena, obviously for all the same reasons that you mentioned. That retirement match with Gunther was beautiful. I'm not one of the people who disliked the match or disliked the ending or anything of that nature. I thought it was perfect, and I thought it was literally poetic with the ending, how it happened. The Dominik Mysterio match was very good. Both Dominik Mysterio matches were very good. The pop that he got in Boston for the final time was amazing. It was a beautiful moment to see him win the Grand Slam champion in Boston with the IC title and Dominik Mysterio. Everything about that was really good. The Liv return in their future match. So yeah, a lot of good stuff from John Cena. I really appreciated his work. Obviously, there was some bad stuff throughout the year, but we're just going to ignore that because he's John Cena.
Yeah, and then now entering to the top 5, I'm going to kick it off with Braun Breaker, somebody who has elevated himself to the main event scene now. He has a world championship match against CM Punk at the start of next year, so it's a great way to kick things off going into next year. But this year has been a very strong year since kicking things off with the Intercontinental Championship reign and then going into the CM Punk or Seth Rollins faction. So yeah, very good year from him now. Kind of seeing where he'll fall, kind of going to the future will be interesting. Obviously has a few with Seth Rollins that's going to be set up when he does come back. So yeah, Braun Breaker is somebody who we kind of knew was going to be a top guy whenever he did get called up to the main roster, and it's now finally time where he is at the top of the main event scene.
Yeah, and someone who I have a little bit higher than you is going to be number 5, Will Ospreay. I think you had him at number 8 or something. At number 6. But yeah, I have him at number 5, just one spot ahead. But I think he's had, obviously, some amazing matches throughout this entire year. Obviously, he's only wrestled about half of the year. So it's kind of like the one thing that will have a knock against him, like you said. But there's a lot of good stuff that he did do. There's a lot of great storytelling that he did with Swerve Strickland leading into All-In, being the person to kind of stop the Bucks from wanting to interfere in the main event to kind of save Hangman Adam Page from winning that world title. So a lot of good stuff, and I expect when he comes back there'll be a lot of great storytelling between him, Hangman Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland, all three together as well. So yeah, happy for Will Ospreay.
Yeah, and then for my number 4, somebody you mentioned earlier, and I mentioned earlier about Jon Moxley, about when it comes to workhorses, the man who steps over Jon Moxley in that division is going to be Bandito, somebody who has been able to juggle the tag team division with Brody King winning the tag team champions there, but also continuing his world championship reign in Ring of Honor, continues to have great matches there with Hechicera, Takeshita, a lot of great matches this year from Bandito, somebody who I think has kind of elevated himself as well into the upper echelon of AEW, maybe not in the world championship scene just yet, but I think once the time is for a new person to kind of show up in that division, I think he's a perfect guy to do it. He's been a great babyface. He's somebody who I think has potential to be a top guy in the company for the foreseeable future, and somebody who I can hope continues to get some big opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Bandito has had an amazing year. I had him ranked a little bit lower, of course, but I think he'll definitely raise up my list in future years, as I mentioned. But at number 4, I do have Konosuke Takeshita, someone who won the G1 this year. That's an amazing feat to accomplish, especially as part of an AEW roster. I guess he's technically part of New Japan too, but he's mostly a part of AEW, of course. And yeah, he's won world titles this year. He's won just about everything you can win. He's pretty much won. He's in a current feud with Okada, doing a lot of really good storytelling things with that. There's obviously the Don Callis story as well, where Don Callis seems to be obviously siding with Okada, and it seems like he's going to turn on him. And yeah, Takeshi is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He had the great tag team match versus Kenny and Will Ospreay to start the year. He's in the C2 right now, where I'm kind of expecting him to win the whole thing. So yeah, I think him being a double tournament winner this year, being a world champion, the IWGP world champion this year, there's a lot of good stuff, and I think he does deserve to be on the list.
For my number 3, though, I'm going to go with the greatest wrestler of all time, the greatest luchador of all time, and that is going to be Dominik Mysterio, somebody who's continued to be the most entertaining guy on WTV pretty much, somebody who has continued to improve not only in the ring, but on the mic. He's somebody who I think when the character kind of stuff has gotten a little bit dry, he has continued to kind of elevate things and kind of change things up a little bit more, make it more interesting. And yeah, he's somebody who obviously is going to be the future of WWE whenever kind of the top heels now kind of go away. But yeah, he's somebody who I believe has just continued to improve, and that's kind of why he is going to be this high for me, I think. Just being able to consistently be there, a workhorse in pretty much every single Raw he has been there, has pretty much been on most of the PLEs as well. So yeah, great year from Dominik Mysterio, and again, somebody who I would consistently have in the top 10 as long as he is continuing in the amount of opportunities that he does get.
Yeah, I do have Dominik Mysterio at number 3 as well. A lot of really good stuff from this year. I had a lot of great storytelling, and when Dom's on TV, yes, pretty much must-watch TV. You really want to see what's gonna go on. There could be a good match that happens. There could be a funny backstage segment, a good promo, a serious promo. Is Finn and him gonna split? Is him and Liv gonna split? Is Roxanne still coming? There's a lot of good things going on with Dominik Mysterio, and I really did enjoy his work this year.
And then at number 2, I do have Kyle Fletcher. Obviously, this year has been one of the best improvement years we've seen from a wrestler in quite some time. The jump he's made, obviously, we knew last year he was going to be at the top of the men's division, but this year to really be at the very, very top has been a great scene to see. Obviously, having a tremendous match with Will Ospreay at the start of the year, ended up winning the TNT champion. Had the great match with Mark Briscoe, one of my favorite matches. So yeah, a very, very great year from Kyle Fletcher, somebody who, again, I do believe was going to be at the top of pretty much everybody's list this year, and yeah, the improvement we've seen from him has been tremendous, and I hope that continues into 2026.
Yeah, and then for my number 2, I have Hangman Adam Page. It looks like we're going to have a reverse 1 and 2 here. But yeah, I have Hangman Adam Page. He had a really good year. Won the world title, of course, from Jon Moxley. Really good storytelling with that, especially with the triple threat match at the start of the year, technically last year with him, Joe, and Swerve, that we're kind of going to get a rematch of this year's World End. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of things that happened between him this year that I didn't really like. But there's also a whole lot of stuff that I did like, and his in-ring match quality has been amazing. His Double or Nothing match with Will Ospreay was great, and one of the matches that we were there for was his match with Powerhouse Hobbs at Blood and Guts. Something that was really cool to see in person when the kind of boxes explode and the sparks go flying. It's really cool to see stuff like that in person, especially with all the Blood and Guts stuff that happened already in that night. So yeah, I have him coming in at number 2.
And then for my number 1, I'm going to go with Shiloh Hill, somebody who has been one of the best acts on NXT. I'm just kidding. Is going to be Adam Page. Like you mentioned, for me, just the story he has had with the kicking it off with the World Championship run and the goal to get there. The match with Ospreay this year at Double or Nothing is one of my favorite matches probably of all time. Just the emotion that you have, that you don't know who's going to win. It's two of the top guys. They both have their own reasons to have the right to win that match, and eventually Hangman gets it, wins the match at All In, and has a pretty good reign. Unfortunately, ended a lot shorter than I would have liked for him to have. But yeah, a very great year from Hangman and Page. The character work has been nothing short of amazing. And yeah, I hope 2026 treats him better if he does have another title run.
Yeah, and at my number 1, I have Kyle Fletcher. He's someone who's become one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. I do think Darby Allin is still probably my number 1 favorite in AEW, but Kyle Fletcher is definitely rising up that list, and I think he's coming for that number 1 spot of my favorites because he's put on amazing matches. The Spanish Fly off the cage is something that everyone's going to talk about for a very long time in his match with Will Ospreay at Revolution. And he just had a lot of amazing moments in general. Him winning the world title, or him winning the TNT title, then losing it to Mark Briscoe. There's just a lot of cool stuff that he's done. He's improved so much. As you mentioned, his promos have gotten so much better as well. That's another quality that he probably did lack a lot of probably last year and all the years before then. But this year, I really feel like he stepped up and kind of put the work in to kind of learn those things and be a whole lot better than what he was previously. And you can really tell all the improvements that he's had in ring, in the promos. And even when you look at little things such as his character building with him and Mark Briscoe, they had obviously a 6 or 7 match feud, whatever it was. And every single time it felt like something new was happening in those matches. Like when you have that many matches with someone, sometimes it could feel kind of stagnant where it's like, okay, we're just seeing the same match in a different way or in a different rotation. But they find new, innovative ways to do cool things. And obviously that's part Mark Briscoe as well. But I do think Kyle Fletcher is a big part of that with the abilities that he has to do in ring.
Yeah, I mean, this year, I think from the men's side, I think it definitely took a down step from last year, but in saying that, like we said, Kyle Fletcher has had one of the best years, I think. It feels like an MVP type of season from him, and yeah, I hope for the next few years, as long as he stays healthy, he will continue to be at the top 10 of pretty much everybody's list. He's somebody that is undeniable at this point of being one of the top talents in pro wrestling and somebody that is the future of pro wrestling. So yeah, world championship for him, I think is definitely going to happen at some point next year, and I hope it is sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and shout out to the Protostar, but that is going to wrap up our video. Day 21 of our December marathon. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for day 22, and we appreciate you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.